Right, down at the table we got the Blotto RTA from Dovpo and the Vaping Bogan. As you can see on this box here, we've got Bogan's logo there, Blotto RTA, Bogan's logo again, and then you've got some information on the back, and I do have the black version, so if you want to pause that and read that in your own time, do so now. Right, this box hasn't got any thumb cut out, so it's a case of shaking it open, hence I've taken everything out of it. Right, so inside you'll find a quality control card. We got this little user manual here, which is 2 pages long, and again you can pause that if you wish to read it. We also get a baggie of goodies here. We've got the tri tool, and we've got 3 O-rings and 4 flathead grub screws. You also get this little bottle opener here, which you can use to measure the legs of the coil. So we'll show you that later on, but I am going to be using the coily tool today because I don't think that tool is particularly that great. And we do get a couple of bubble glasses. We've got this Ultim piece here, which brings the capacity up to 6 millilitres. And we also have this glass bubble here, which is also 6 mil. Right, and here is the RTA then. So it's 25 millimeters at the base, this one, and it comes out to 26 I've measured around the glass section. Now allegedly this one only holds 2 mil of e-liquid, but I'm sure that it holds more than that. So I reckon it's more like 4 mil, but I haven't actually measured it, but it seems to last quite well in straight glass anyway. So let's go from the top then. We've got an Ultim drip tip here, 810 fitting of course. We've got the O-ring that goes around the top in there, so all of your aftermarket drip tips will fit. I've had no problems at all. There is the bore there, so reasonable sized bore. That is a bit restrictive, this RTA though. We'll talk about that a bit later on. So this is the top cap, and we got the old bottle top design going on around here. It is a little bit rough around here, but it gives you something to grab hold of, and if you wish to take the top off, it's just tighten it up. Actually, it's not tight enough. You just twiddle this bit around. It's on a bayonet type fitting. There's your gasket in there, there's the 2 notches, and it just coincides with the notches here. And these are your filling ports, juice filling ports, so no problems at all. Nice size filling ports, and this is where the airflow goes, so don't fill down the centre. So just put your top on like that, back quarter of a turn or so, and it tightens it back up into place. Right, have a look at the bottom actually. So we got Blotto RTA, Bogan's logo there, a couple of markings, Vaping Bogan there, and the serial number. And we have got a gold plate 510 pin with the peak insulator that does surround it, and it actually does come up past the actual negative part of the post, so that's good to see. I have dropped this RTA though, so I have actually damaged it, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. We do have honeycomb airflow on both sides here. This is fully adjustable, and as you can see there, we can just close off the columns, and what you adjust on one will be the same on the other side. So to unscrew it from the base, just unscrew it like that, and we come to our first con. As you can see, the glass literally just falls off, so if you've got juice in this, it will go everywhere, which yeah, that's a bit of an oversight from Dovpo and Sam there, the Vaping Bogan, because most RTAs, the O-ring basically holds the glass on, and this one doesn't. That's really a crap thing on this particular RTA. Anyway, quick look inside the chimney. Threading's not too bad on here. We've got a nice bit of doming going on, which is renowned for giving better flavour, so all very good, the chimney part is. While we're at it, let's put one of these bubbles on. Screw the base back on, we'll have a look at that in a minute. So that's what we're looking like in bubble tank mode. Right, so apparently it's got what's called 242 degree airflow. So we do have the airflow slots come in from underneath, and we've also got some holes coming from the side as well. 1250, I think it's 18 on either side. That's what it looks like from the side angle. I have got the what's it called, the diesel RTA. That one looks very similar from this side on view, but on the diesel the holes come further over on both sides. But we have got the angle grub screws here, so it's like a post this, but they're on the angle, so you just drop your leads in. You can have it in single coil or dual coil. There is a peak insulator that does separate the positive and negative. You can just see around the bottom there, so it does mean you can put a single coil just in one side and pull it over to the middle, or you can do opposite legs on either side. Dual coil obviously have one there and one over here. So there is an O-ring going around the bottom here as well. We've got a GTA style raised deck, as you can see, so you don't need to have your cotton legs too long with this one. You stuff them in here. I just have them just poking out the bottom. So let's put a little build in it now. Right, first off, unscrew all of your screws. So here's this particular tool, which I haven't used, but what they say you can do is you get your coil and you just rest it under here, and then you snip it flush there. Now what I've been doing instead is using the trusty old coily tool at 4mm, because I just think you can get a better flush cut by using this tool. So that's what we've done today. Right, and I've put my coils in because these are flatheads and they're on a bit of an angle, and I find flatheads really fiddly to do on camera, so I've just installed them there. I've got 3mm internal diameter coils in there. Now they are a bit snug in there, but they do fit, as you can just see there, and that's the sort of coil positioning we got. But 2.5s do work, and if you want to do a single coil you can use a 3mm or 3.5, 4mm, because you do need to make sure you plug up the cotton port. But there we go, we got a couple of aliens in here, which are, I think they're 3x26 gauge aliens, so they do fit in there. Right, so we got it on the Wild Wolf, and it's coming out at 0.12 ohms, so we're just going to bed the coils in. What's up, guys? We're back up top with the Blotto RTA by the Vaping Bogan and Dovpo. Right, what are my thoughts with this one then? Well, I've had some fun and games with this. I've had it a few weeks, and when I was out on my travels giving it a good testing, I managed to drop my mod ideas, Modus EOS 2, Stabwood mod, and the Blotto on top. Landed on the mod, but the Blotto just totally disintegrated off the mod. The glass stayed intact, but the base section and everything flew off, and what happened was the AFC came off. The base is actually in two sections, press fitted in to like the bottom part of it. The 510 pin flew out as well, and there's like a, it's funny because there's like a stainless steel bit on the end of the 510. It looks a bit peculiar, but as a result I had to try and push it all back together. The peak insulator inside the 510 split in two as well, and I was looking on the floor at Corfe Castle in Dorset for everything when it just went everywhere. I didn't have another one to test, so I had to get it home, get some mole grips and squeeze like the base section back together again. I managed to put the two pieces of the peak back together, and I can actually put the pin in and it actually works all right, but it's a little bit on the loose side this, so it's probably not it's all right now, but if you get it in the right place it stays in place. But it's obviously not ideal to use, especially not on a mechanical device, so I won't be using it on a mechanical device for that reason. But anyway, that's not going to happen to yours unless you drop it. But let's talk about the fit and finish and build quality then. Right, so that being said then, I do like the look of this, especially in straight glass mode. I've got my own purple drip tip on the Smock Morph mod here, multicoloured mod, and it looks pretty good indeed. I'm not such a fan of the drip tip that comes with it, this Ultim thing, but you can put your Ultim fat boy glass on there if you want to, but I just really don't like the look of the bubble glasses on it. And especially going on to the first major con, obviously when you go to re-wick it or put a new corn in or whatever, you really need to make sure that you've run your juice out, because if you put it upside down, take your deck out, the glass moves because there's no seal on that bottom O-ring around there, and it will just piss juice out everywhere. So it's a massive con. It's an oversight by Sam the Vaping Bogan and Dovpo, and I can't believe they let it go through like that. But apart from that, everything else, the bayonet fitting I really like on this, quarter of a turn, put it up, and works really well. I like the bottle top design on there, gives you something to grab hold of. It does feel like a bottle top. It's not rough, it's not going to cut you or anything, but it's a little bit rough. But the paintwork's all held up nicely on here. I like the tolerances to the AFC ring, that spins nice and freely, but it's a bit of resistance to it. But the threads are okay, and everything else is okay with the build quality, and I do like the Bogan logo on the chimney there. Right, the post screws, they're flatheads. I hate flatheads. I much prefer grub screws, hex style grub screws, but that's just a personal con for me, and they're on a slight angle, so it's a little bit tricky to build on camera, I found, so hence I did a bit of a cheat job down below. But no problems really with the screws. I just prefer hex style ones myself. Right, let's have a little toot on it then. I've got it at 85 watts and we've got a 0.14 build. We're going to have that airflow fully open, and I'm going to give you a rating, with 1 being a super tight vape, 10 being like a breathing in fresh air. So here we go. Let's try that again. Right, here we go. Right, airflow on here, we have got quite a bit of restriction really, because we've got the honeycomb airflow slots there, and we've also got them coming from the side, and we've got the holes underneath, or the slits underneath. So we have got about a bit of restriction. 6.5 to 7 out of 10 I'll give it fully open. So it's not, for those who airflow hogs out there, you might not like this particular vape. We'll knock it down to about halfway now. So I'm going to put the wattage down to about 75 now. Still nice and smooth, and you can knock it down even further, but to be honest, if you start going any lower than that with the airflow, I find that the flavour actually diminishes because there's not enough airflow getting to the core. That's at 65 watts, but it's still smooth. But if you've put smaller cores in there, you probably could restrict it a little bit more. But with the couple of aliens I got in there, it works best for me with it wide open with this particular tank. Right, let's boost it up a little bit more, see what it can handle then. We've got quite a lot of cloudage, 95 watts. So getting oodles of vapor production, and you can go even higher if you want. Really wicks very well this one. I love GTA style decks like the Blotto RTA. That's at 105. You can go higher if you want, but I don't really like a hot vape, so I like doing it anywhere between 60 and 90 watts. For me is optimum vape, around 85 watts. Right, what about that flavour then, you're asking? Right, this really has got top drawer flavour for me. No getting around it. I've had loads of decent ones this year, or for the past 12 months or so. We had the Kaiden V2, Solomon V3, Zeus X, Fatality M25, the Fatality 28. There's been loads of them that are really good flavour. And this one for me is definitely in the top 3 for flavour. I haven't done a comparison test with all of them, but really been getting on with this one. It really delivers those fruity flavours, because I like vaping fruity vapes. I've had my Just Dram strawberry in here, and the Nature Vape, what was it, blackcurrant raspberry and lime. That tastes awesome in this tank. Really brings out those notes very well indeed. Right, what about single core mode then? I know there's a lot of single core lovers out there. Well, that's the first build I did actually put in here. I put a 3.5mm fuse Clapton, something like that in here, and I vape that for the first 3 or 4 days, and it really does give decent flavour. Not sure it's as good as some of your own dedicated single coilers like the Kelpie or the Aromizer Light, but it is a decent single coil RTA if you want to use it in that mode. So apart from that major con with you putting the tank upside down and it pissing everywhere, if you've got juice in it and you go to do your build, I think this is a really good tank, and it gets a big thumbs up from me, and well done to the Vaping Bogan and Dovpo. Just hope for the V2 they sort out that issue though, because that is really shouldn't be happening with an RTA of these days. So yeah, you really need to sort that one out, Dovpo. But big thanks to Dovpo for sending this one over for review. It's very much appreciated. And if you enjoyed the review, guys, as ever, if you could give the video a little thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing too. Hit the little bell notification, you'll be notified of all my latest videos. Now, I've got a website as ever, it's mfvape.co.uk, and you can also find me over on social media. We've got Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And the video will also be over on VapeTube at some point as well, so if you haven't done already, go and give us a little sub over there as well too. It'd be much appreciated. So until next time, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Okay, cheers.